This is my Surly ice cream truck. It's not really strange that I own an ice cream truck. Ice cream is my absolutely favourite dessert, and blue is my favourite colour. So, I basically have to have one of these. This is actually the second time I own this bike. I originally bought this, which is a large 2016 frame, new second-hand. I bought it of a guy that had bought the frame new, but never got around to building it up. At the time, I had a white fat bike, and I took all the stuff off that, put it on this frame, and basically built it up. Then I decided I was going to do something else, do a couple of other trips, and I sort of never really got around to using it. And in the end, I took all the equipment off it, put it back on the white, sold that fat bike, and then actually ended up selling this frame, which I regretted. They're not really easy to get, and this is the best colour. It just really is. All the colours that have come since are nowhere near as nice as this blue colour. Forward a few years, and last summer I saw the frame advertised again, or a frame. And it turned out to be the same one. The guy that I had sold it to had done exactly the same as the first owner and hadn't built the frame up at all, and it'd just been lying there. So I was actually able to buy it back. It's a large 2016 blue ice cream truck, which means it has the removable MDS dropouts. So depending on what sort of wheel or what sort of derailleur I want to fit, I can actually change the rear dropouts. At the moment, I have the adjustable dropouts as I'm running it single speed. It's made, and I actually built it up to be 2x10 speed with a Diora rear derailleur and a really big jump between the two front cogs, which gives me, well, basically, a bike like this, you want really low gear to be able to go anywhere you want. But as I'm in Finland at the moment, and I've decided to come out and try to get a bit fitter and explore the local landscape, which is reasonably flat, I decided to make it single speed. So it's set up single speed at the moment. I might have geared it a little bit too high, but it works, and it's given me a workout if nothing else. I have my trusty saddle, my C17 Brooks saddle, which I've been using on a lot of different bikes for the last few years, since I bought it in 2017. This is probably my favourite saddle. I did on the European Divide last year, I used the C15 instead, and I would say the difference is this saddle is more comfortable when you're not wearing cycling shorts, whereas the C15 is slightly narrower and is more comfortable when you are wearing cycling shorts. So it depends on how you want to go there. But this is probably a little bit more comfortable. It's a little bit wider, and it fits better if you're not wearing cycling shorts. Apart from that, I have hydraulic disc brakes, just 180mm front, 160 rears, just plain and simple, I think they're Tektro hydraulic brakes. Work really well on this bike. With the grip you get on these big fat tyres, you need reasonably good brakes, so 180 at the front, 160 at the rear, works out really well. I have the tubeless fat rack fitted, which fits really nicely on this, with this dropout, with another set of dropouts. It didn't fit too well, but luckily I wanted to swap to these dropouts anyway, so that worked out quite well. Mule fat wheels with 75 inside diameter or 80mm outside diameter rims. I can fit up to a 4.8 quite easily on this. I've got, 4.5 on them at the moment, slightly narrower. Depending what I want to use the bike for, I can fit different tyres. I have been thinking about getting a set of 29-inch plus wheels for the bike, but I'll see. Seems unnecessary to get too many wheel sets for it. It's got the original Surly OG crank. Works quite well. It's starting to get hard to find chain rings for it, but apart from that, it's worked quite well. On the front, I've got the Salsa anything cages mounted to the fork. They work well. I just strap whatever I want there. I can strap water bottles, or I can strap my tent or anything there. At the moment, I have the front rack that I used on my Surly Troll when I cycled to Italy. I was going to get a Surly 24-pack rack for the front, but when I ordered it, it just never arrived, and I eventually had to cancel that order. So I hope to change this to a Surly 24-pack rack, which will look a little bit neater on the front, probably sit a little bit lower, and will be a little bit sturdier. I want this bike to be built up to basically handle anything. But for the time being, I know this rack works, having used it before, so it'll get me packing the way I want to. And then I have these Wheel Orange alternate handlebars with a nice back sweep and these front horns. It's a nice wide bar, suits the fat bike really well. It's really comfortable riding. I am very, very comfortable in the normal riding position. I often find myself sitting over the brakes, and if I want to, I can change to any number of different hand positions, so it's quite comfortable. If there's one complaint about these bars, I wish they weren't turned up so much on the front sort of handlebar. I wish that was just straight flat. The turn is a little bit too much there at the moment. Apart from that, it works great. When I kit this, I can kit this in a number of different ways. I have got a frame bag that fits in here. I can put everything else on, and then I can buy Walkley gravel pack panniers on the rear, or I can just strap a dry bag on the back. So I can basically build it up for really long distance touring or lightweight riding. It's possible to go either way. This summer I hope to spend 2 months riding the northern part of the European Divide Bikepacking Trail, and I haven't really decided which bike I'm going to take yet. This is one of the options, and I haven't decided if I'm going to build it back to 2x10 speed or if I'm going to try to cycle single speed. So we'll see what happens. But all in all, it's a really great bike that I'm very glad that I have got back again, and I really enjoy it. Fat bikes are a little bit different. They can go anywhere, and with this Surly steel frame, with the ability to mount just about anything on it, I can go anywhere, anytime, and carry as much stuff as I will ever need. Great bike.